Today, for the first time publicly, we heard from ex-special counsel Jack Smith on Capitol Hill. Yes, the guy who tried twice to prosecute President Trump. Here's what he had to say for himself.
I want to be clear. I stand by my decisions as special counsel, including the decision to bring charges against President Trump.
Quick refresher on Jack Smith. After being appointed under the Biden administration, he went after Trump again and again, leading to two separate federal investigations into President Trump. The 2020 election interference case and the classified documents case at Mar-a-Lago. Smith dropped election interference charges after Trump won a second term in 2024. The Supreme Court had already ruled that he had presidential immunity for official acts. And the classified documents case, the one where Mar-a-Lago was raided, it was dismissed by a federal judge on constitutional grounds, ruling Smith's appointment was invalid. President Trump posting moments ago, based on his testimony today, there is no question that deranged Jack Smith should be prosecuted for his actions. He destroyed the lives of many innocent people, which has been his history as a prosecutor. At a minimum, he committed large-scale perjury. Smith denies the investigations were politically motivated, but House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan says otherwise.
He's got to get President Trump. He's got to stop President Trump from tie him up in court. He's got to get to trial, or at a minimum, insert an 165-page political document into the presidential campaign. It was always about politics.
And while he was under oath, Smith confidently said that the Biden administration did not pressure him to go after Trump. Smith believes Trump's words were criminal because they caused others to act in a criminal way. But that is not how the law works.
So if a defendant there actually believes a factual claim is true, that would mean he could not be convicted of that charge. Isn't that right?
Well,
not correctly convicted.
The defendant for that charge would have to behave corruptly, and corruptly could include seeking an unlawful benefit, seeking a benefit to benefit themselves, in this case, to stay in office when they had, in fact, not won the election.
But there, too, there's a requirement of intent.
Joining me now is Sunday Night in America host and former federal prosecutor Trey Gowdy. Trey, it's great to see you here today. I don't profess to be an expert on the First Amendment, but I do happen to know a little bit about free speech and the constitutional history of free speech. Tell me about Jack Smith's argument that President Trump's words were not protected, that President Trump's words could be prosecuted because others acted criminally.
Yeah, I think among many other points, Will, that was a really weak theory. I'm a little surprised he went there. Literally, the speech at the ellipse was criminal, according to Jack Smith. So if you and I were to talk today and I were to say something and you were to go to rob a mini mart in Texas, I guess you would say that Trey provoked me to do that. It's a horrible legal thing. By the way, don't do that. It's a horrible legal theory. I'm surprised he went there. I think the better idea was from the moment of the election until the certification, there was a conspiracy. I'm not saying it's a good theory, but it's a better theory than the speech itself was criminal. Good lawyers know that it was not.
I would say almost every lawyer knows that it's not. And that kind of brings back into the motivations and intentions of Jack Smith. Surely he's a better lawyer. Maybe he was trying to advance a novel case on the limits of the First Amendment, Trey, but there's virtually all you have to do is read a little bit of court history, a little bit of precedent to understand the limitations on free speech. And it's got to be a direct incitement to violence. Nothing the president said that day, nor even the arguments made by Jack Smith, amounted to anything that previously would have been considered criminal or a limit on free speech.
To the contrary, the president used the word peaceful, which oftentimes gets left out when that clip is played. I think it is dumbfounding that Smith, there are a lot of things that I would have liked to have asked, that you and I may have asked if we'd been at this hearing. My top line takeaway, it is dumbfounding to me that you are starting with the speech and you view that as an overt act in this larger conspiracy, because
Right.
you say no lawyer. There might be somewhere, one in a psychiatric unit somewhere that thinks that this speech was criminal. But anyone who listens, look, I was listening live on air. I wasn't crazy about the speech. I thought he went after Tom Cotton, and he should not have. But it wasn't a criminal speech.
Well, and that's why I suggest either Jack Smith is a completely incompetent lawyer or he was motivated by something other than a rational application of the law.